So I've had my car for just over 3 weeks now, and already within 3 weeks I've received 2 software updates, which I don't think you can mostly say with any other car, even a lot of other electric vehicles. It seems to be a difficult challenge for other automakers to figure out over-the-air updates, and that's one of the main reasons I bought this car, was because I knew Tesla got software better than anybody, not just with the mobile app, which has been amazing, but also with the center screen and how this can change and get better over time. But I was on a pretty early version when I took delivery of my car on August 24th. I was on 2022.15.103. I think they could simplify the version naming a little bit further, but yeah. So all of those videos you saw on my day one impressions and kind of the first week of videos I made with this car were all on a fairly old version, and I was hearing about new changes and new updates, but I wasn't getting any in my car. So in case you're wondering, I guess it takes a couple weeks usually before Tesla can register that a new car has been delivered and it should start getting some updates. So it wasn't until September 9th, about a week ago, that I got my first update for the car. I was really excited. Just a little push notification set to the phone. It automatically lets you schedule a time to update the car, because basically the car's going to be rebooting, making some noises, the screen's going to be off, and essentially it means you cannot drive the car for about 25 to 30 minutes. So that's why by default it encourages you to install it late at night, sometime between midnight and 1 a.m. You can of course schedule it to install whenever you want, but because I wasn't in a big rush and I wanted to install the update, I installed it right away. So I just hit install now, and the 25-30 minutes or so went by. You can watch the installation progress on the phone app, which is cool. Then we got it, and the release notes right there when you get in the car for the first time, letting you know what's been updated. And I was catching up on a lot of updates because I was on 2022.15, and now after the update I got on September 9th, I'm on 2022.24.8. So I'm sure there's little changes I may be missing here and there, but the thing I definitely noticed as soon as I got in the car after updating was the repositioned blind spot camera view, which I already knew they had fixed even before we took delivery. I was just waiting for that option to arise. But yeah, when I first got the car and I drove around and turned on my blinkers, the blind spot was in the bottom corner of the display, which was not ideal. I of course wanted to move it, and I knew that you could move it, but I just didn't have the software for it yet. Now it has been updated, and by default, when I signal, the blind spot camera is directly right beneath the speedometer, which is perfect. That's exactly where I wanted it to be. I wish it could go all the way into the top corner of the display, but there's actually a legal reason for that. You're not allowed to have a speedometer move around while the car is in motion. So that's why they can't put the blind spot camera above the speedometer. But the nice thing is you can even move it. There's a little tab when you're in motion, and you can drag the camera view back to the old placement if you like it there, or if you're worried about it covering up your visualizations, you can actually move the camera view over to cover up part of the map, which I love that fluidity. I love that it gives you options, and it's so nice that there's just a little tab so you can easily drag it where you want it to be. The other thing we gained with this update was the green light traffic chime, which used to be a full self-driving feature, so you had to pay extra or subscribe basically in order to have the car make a little chime whenever it registers that the light goes from red to green. But Tesla graciously just decided, hey, you know what? That should just be with basic autopilot. So even though I haven't technically paid for full self-driving, the car just suddenly lets you know when the light is green. And I appreciate that feature when it works, but there's honestly been a few circumstances when it still doesn't always make the chime. So I still pay attention, of course. And the other part that's nice is that if you're behind a car at the traffic light, it will only chime once the car in front of you starts moving. So it's intelligent enough to know not to set off that alert when you can't move, even though the light is technically green, which was clever. They also in that update rolled out the ability to save your driver position to the cloud. So your steering wheel height and depth and your seating position and everything, that could be saved directly to your Tesla account. I guess if you have multiple Teslas, or if you rent another Tesla and you want to download your profile or something, that's another solution for you. Not particularly useful to us. We just have the one car. Don't have any plans on renting Teslas anytime soon, so don't need that feature, but hey, it's cool that it's there. Then actually today, on September 15th, we got another update. So not even a week goes by, and now 2022.28.1 is available. So of course we installed it right away. And this one has some pretty big changes that I was grateful for. For one, it lets you view multiple different routes and their traffic sensitivity. So I haven't had the privilege of trying that one yet, but it should allow you to navigate in quick succession which route is going to be the best for you, which one's going to have the most most charging stops or least charging stops, which one's going to take the most amount of time. So basically just more routing options, as well as something that I'm honestly using right now, which is minimize Tesla theater mode. So Tesla theater probably is one of my favorite parts of the car. We've been using it a lot over the past 3 weeks, just watching YouTube videos. I know it has Netflix and Hulu and Disney Plus, but we really don't use any of those services. We just use YouTube for most of our content consumption, and Tesla theater is great, and there's really nothing that much like it on other vehicles, but the one downside of it is it's kind of its own separate app that takes over the whole display, and when Tesla theater was activated, you couldn't really access a lot of the car's controls or many options with HVAC. They just give you little arrow buttons at the top if you want to change temperature or screen brightness and stuff like that. But now, thankfully, if you have this latest update, there's a little button that lets you minimize Tesla theater, so it only takes up about 2/3 of the display, and you can keep watching your content while still having access to controls for the vehicle, like the lock button, like the settings if you want to adjust your charge limit, and of course the full access to all of the HVAC controls. You can dictate where you want the AC vents to go. You can set the fan speed opposed to just leaving it on auto and changing the little arrows at the top. So I really appreciate that flexibility as well. Plus, they gave me some games that I guess did not come preloaded with the car. So now my car, just over-the-air update from just a couple minutes ago, now supports Sonic the Hedgehog, it supports Cuphead, and now it does have Polytopia or some other game that I hadn't heard as closely, but you do have to have a USB controller plugged in order to access those games, which is a bit weird. I know that during the chip shortage, they were switching to different components and chips, and more recent generation Teslas delivered actually don't have the hardware for wireless game controllers, or maybe they do and they just haven't rolled out the software update to enable it, so you have to use a wired controller for now. But still, hey, I mean, can any other car outside of Tesla play Cuphead on the display? That's pretty freaking awesome in my view. Or Sonic the Hedgehog. It's amazing that just for free, at no additional charge, my car is gaining so much functionality and it's gaining features that I'm utilizing on a daily basis. And this is just something I wanted to highlight in today's video because it's one of, I think, the best reasons to go with the Tesla, because they just get software right. And hardware things, you know, that you can tolerate and you can get used to any car that, you know, gets you from point A to point B. You know, it drives, it charges, it can do driver assistance features and stuff like that. But can your car just magically, suddenly get better over time within a span of a few days because Tesla felt like rolling out a few updates? Yeah, that's a pretty freaking awesome perk of being a Tesla owner, and I'm loving it so far. And just as an update for you, I lied a little bit earlier when I said I didn't pay for full self-driving, because Elon in a recent tweet said that they plan on rolling out FSD beta to everybody with a safety score 80 and higher within the next couple days, which I think my safety score is over 80. I don't know about by how much, just a little bit better than 80. So I'm even more pumped now on the subject of software updates because I did just subscribe to FSD again. I'm actually going to be doing a bit of a longer drive tomorrow, so I'm going to take advantage of Navigate on Autopilot Round 2. Let's hope that we get less phantom braking, and I'll try leaving confirm lane changes on and see if that performs any better than it did on the last road trip. But yeah, hopefully we should be getting FSD beta within the next couple weeks, and I have full self-driving for sure this time. There's no free trial. It actually charged my credit card and everything. It's about $216 after sales tax. So hopefully that means FSD beta 10.69 is coming to my car within the week. And of course, I want to document that experience with you guys too, see how it performs in my area. And I'm just getting so pumped right now thinking of all the software that is getting better and improving and all the functionality that my car is gaining just via lines of code being sent over the airwaves. Pretty awesome in my view. So I want to thank again everyone on Patreon for supporting this channel directly. Seriously, helps us out a ton, as does just watching these videos, makes all of this possible. And I hope you all have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.